Hi everybody, it's Audrey. Welcome to day 8 of the 'Tis the Season 12 Days of Holidays Scrapping. Today I am using the November Hip Kit Club kit, which features a lot of holiday scrappy goodness. And my guest today is Tarrah McLean, and she just makes completely adorable pages. I just love her style, so please go check out her page as well. So I am using this piece of background paper, pattern paper rather, for my background. I'm going to put some white gesso over it just to kind of tone down the pattern a little bit. And the funny thing about this page is that this is your regular old scrapbook page. I don't use any cut files. I don't really use any mixed media. It's just a plain old scrapbook page today. So sometimes it feels good just to do a quick page and, get it over and done with. I say that as I'm spreading gesso on my page, but really I'm not doing too much media techniques here. I just wanted to darken up this piece of cardstock a little bit. And you see the star that's kind of underneath the cardstock right now? I was trying to match that color a little better because the cardstock was just a tiny bit lighter than the star and not as bright. And so I wanted to brighten up this piece of cardstock a little bit. So I'm just going to paint it with a little bit of this Distress Oxide ink. And I think it matches the blue a little bit better. So after I get that done, I have my photos. Oh, and by the way, I am following the sketch today, this Friday. So every Friday there's a sketch in the Hip Kit Club member forum on Facebook. And this is the sketch for this week. And I have rotated the sketch by 90 degrees. So the sketch had a tall photo spanning across the page. So I decided to use two smaller photos and make them horizontal. So I am going to layer just a whole bunch of papers behind my photos, and the sketch has like these layers of papers with little tabs coming off them. And I love that idea, I love that design. And there are a lot of stickers that are tab shaped in this kit, so I thought it would be perfect to use those. So I used the piece of blue paper to kind of frame my photos, and then all the other papers I'm putting underneath are kind of reddish or pinkish tones. I considered putting this green piece of cardstock behind there just to bring in a pop of green, but I am going to go back and add green in different ways. What am I doing? Okay, so I'm just looking for some embellishments, I think, now, because I like how this is laid out, and considering, do I want to add any more paper? It's already kind of busy with the pattern paper background and then all these papers and the layers, so I'm not going to do too much more. This is one of those like barcode strips from the bottom of a page. I don't even remember which page it was from the kit, but I had saved it. And I liked that it would have the red, the blue, and the pink in it, so that kind of combined all these layers together. And I just put one on the top and one on the bottom, and it kind of looks like a whole big piece behind there. So here is the sheet I was talking about to the left there with all the tags and labels, and the labels that can work as tags. So I take a couple of those off and put them on the different layers of my paper. And now I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do to kind of embellish. And so I add in a whole bunch more tags, and I rearrange a lot of things on this page because the photos and papers pretty much stay the same. I'm happy with those, but where I want to put the labels and what else I want to do I want to highlight the stars, and do I want to bring in some gold? I thought about fussy cutting out that other piece of pattern paper to put some more labels on. So this process, I know this is taking me a while. It does take me a while to figure out, what I want exactly on here. I felt that if I added too many, and the other thing is I didn't have a ton to say on this about these photos, so I knew my journaling was going to kind of be short and sweet. So I was thinking, what am I going to put on all these tags if I put them on here? Am I going to put little phrases or sayings or stickers, or what am I going to do on them once I have them all on? I knew that at least one would be a date. So okay, so I found this really cute puffy sticker that comes in the kit as well. And it says Holiday Fun, and that's a perfect kind of match for these photos. I took this piece of chipboard from the Pink Fresh Studios, and that's where I start bringing in the little bits of green. So I like that that has a little green in it, but I'm going to have to bring in green on other places as well. I decided to use that star on the background paper to ground another cluster of embellishments. So I got that little 25 die cut and the little phrase tab label thing and put that there. And I put a layer of presents down at the bottom. And I bring in another color, that kind of dark blue. I picked the dark blue present in the bottom, and then the blue star on the left by the number 25, and then the blue star in the top right. So I'm trying to create a little bit of a visual triangle. So I have my big cluster of items around my photo, and then the star underneath with the 25, and then the little layer of presents on the bottom. So I'm going to speed this part up a little bit because it's just me moving things around, and I spend a long time doing this. So it will start to come together a little bit faster here as I go along. Nothing really earth-shattering. It's just, you know, putting different stickers and embellishments in different places to see what works. Okay, so yeah, I am trying to balance out the green. So I put the green label sticker up there in the top. I have the green in the word joy, and I have a green present down at the bottom. And I think I put a green star on here somewhere. I'm not sure where it is right now. Maybe I didn't put it on yet. I thought I did. But there's a green star on the sticker sheet, and I stick that somewhere as well. I like having the, so I had the 25, that's a circular element, and then I found there's a piece of flair in the kit and a little circle journaling spot, so I liked bringing in the circular elements to kind of go, and the little brads, of course, too. And I have to scatter those little wood brads throughout the page as well to kind of make the eye flow with the circles or the dots. So I don't put 3 of them, I put a couple of them. I think I still put 5, I think, maybe 4. I tend to work in odd numbers when I put things down. Yeah, I did put 5 on. Okay, so now I'm ready to glue. And my glue is clogged, which happens frequently, so I unclog it. I'm using liquid glue, mixed media glue. I'm going to rough up these edges a little bit. And I thought that this cardstock was kind of plain around my photos. I don't hardly ever use cardstock to mat my photos. I usually use pattern paper. So I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. So I decided to do some hand stitching on it, which I will get to in a second, I guess. I'm first going to glue these layers down. I'm going to glue all of these pieces of paper down together like I have. And you see how I just flip them up? I don't actually take them off because I want to keep them oriented the same way so that they don't move too much. And then I'm going to glue the whole thing down once I get the layers glued together. And then I'll go back and glue my photo down the very last thing. Okay, gonna add on some, guess I'm gonna start gluing my embellishments down too. I do pop off some of the, I put some of the things down in the background. I pop off some of the presents with some foam squares. And then of course the puffy stickers have a little dimension too. I'm not really trying to glue these down too securely because I know I'm gonna stitch over a lot of the things. So when I stitch over something, I only use a little bit of glue just to hold it in place while I'm sewing. I'm going to just rough up the edges of these papers. I love doing that because I really think it adds some dimension and texture. And if you ever notice, I hardly ever use a paper trimmer to cut my papers. I usually just eyeball everything when I cut them, unless I need a very specific size. So I very rarely use my paper trimmer to cut papers. But because I rough up the edges a lot, if I have any edge that's kind of wonky for me cutting it, a little bit crooked, I think just dressing the edges can help rectify that a little bit, so it doesn't make it look as crooked if it is crooked. But I don't know, sometimes it's just, I know this is so dumb, but it takes longer for me to get out my trimmer and cut it than it would just for me to cut it by hand, so I just cut it by hand, I guess. Okay, so here's where I decided to add some hand stitching, and a friend of mine, Heather Leopard, gave this to me years and years and years ago as a little trick. So this is, what's it called? Is it latch hook? Is that what this is from? I don't know. It's like a craft thing that you put string through. I guess it's kind of like cross stitch. And well, anyway, the squares are evenly spaced, so it provides a great template for poking holes if you want to have evenly spaced holes. So you just put it up and put it there and put your paper piercer through it, and it makes perfectly spaced holes. So I always thought that was a great tip. So I keep it in my little tote bag where all my scissors and stuff are. All right, so I'm hand sewing. I am using a 3-ply embroidery thread. So, you know, using embroidery string and then pull apart 3 threads so that I'm only working with 3 at a time because I don't want it too thick. And I love what that adds to the page. I used green, by the way, and that kind of helps, I think, bring in all the green. So just another layer of texture and a little bit of interest just to kind of jazz up that plain blue border a little bit. And I put my sleeves down over my hands so I wouldn't get fingerprints on my hands, or on my pictures rather. So I stitched, and I stitched with a gold thread, and you can see I stitched around the outline of that star. So I carefully went around with my machine and went really slow and stitched so I got a really good outline there. And I love what that did to the star and kind of popped it off, and it doesn't even look like it's part of the background paper anymore. I don't think it makes it look like it's, you know, its own separate embellishment. There's that green star I was talking about. And I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. I just add some journaling, and on my labels I went and did a few stamps with a phrase stamp I had. But there you can see all my little layers, and yeah, so nothing too complicated today. Kind of a typical scrapbook page. So I hope you enjoyed the page today. Be sure to check out Tarrah's channel for her creation as well in her video, and I will see you tomorrow for day 9 already. So thanks so much for coming by today. I really, really appreciate it. Stay scrappy, friends.